End.
Shall none of us prevail?
Not like this.
Alicent told love for our enemy. That makes her a fool.
The enemy without may be fought with swords. The enemy within is more insidious.
House of the Dragon, Season 2. Also, House of the Dragon is the second season of the Game of Thrones, I say prequel. I mean, it feels like the show is just like, hey, you remember that thing in Game of Thrones you're really like, hey, you remember this? You remember this? You remember that? I feel like that's a lot what the show is. So, the second season basically splits off at the end of the first season. You have the Blacks, who is ran by Rhaenyra, and the Greens, who is ran by Aegon II Targaryen. And it's basically a whole season of nothing but setup for season 3. And some people might say, oh, Game of Thrones, there's a lot of politics and talking. Yeah, but in the second season, we still got the Battle of Blackwater, and we still got some significant things happen. And I feel like all we did in season 2 is the same thing we did for season 1, which was set up the next season of the show. And listen, the story, I know the story. The story can be amazing, but I feel like a lot of this season was just, we had some stuff we want to do later. So we're just gonna set that up, and we'll talk about we'll get to it later. So like the stuff with Daemon, it was interesting. It was some of it was interesting. It felt like it paid off at the end, especially when he gets a glimpse of the future in the past, and I was like, okay. I mean, you know, sometimes you gotta tie this all together, and sometimes the books don't always tell you things, and I thought there were some scenes that was really interesting to see. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, maybe he becomes that character that we see in Game of Thrones. And maybe it's someone else who I thought it was. So that was interesting on one part. Rhaenyra, who is constantly struggling, she's like, do I murder everybody? Do I try to do things more peaceably? And So you're watching the dilemma of her character as the show is going along. Episode 4 was the best episode of the series, is because I was like, okay, this is what the show is supposed to be: dragons fighting dragons, and it was absolutely devastating what happened. And I was like, all right, here we go. And then it's like, all right, let's get back to playing chess. So like, of course, for me, season 2 was a letdown. Maybe when I see season 3, it will pay off. But for right now, season 2 is, for me, it's a disappointment. Because I feel like there wasn't enough going on this season to make it because I was like, okay, we're about to get the Dance of Dragons. We really didn't get the Dance of Dragons. We got like, well, this is the preamble before we start dancing. So, that's House of Dragons season 2. I'm very disappointed. And there was like maybe 1 or 2 good episodes this season. So that's all I gotta say about that. So guys, what's your thoughts on season 2 of House of the Dragon? Did you like it more than me? You probably did. So whatever your thoughts are, comment below. Let me know. And guys, if you like this video, this is subscribe to see more. Tell your friends about Easy Nation. All too easy.